My name is Anthony Moreau. I'm the CEO of American Eagle Gold. We've had an amazing season so far. We've released 11 of our estimated 45 to 48 assays this year. Our most recent released, with 2548 being the highlight, 77 meters of nearly 1.8% copper equivalent. And I know it's at depth, but this connects to surface is what we're planning on doing with some of these holes we have for the remainder of the season. Of that 77 meters, 1.21% copper within it. That is the highest grade copper we've hit so far. We have an amazing project at NAC. We see stuff at surface, we see stuff at depth. And what we're going to do is we're going to connect the stuff at surface to depth with some of the holes that we've already drilled that we have not released and some of our future holes that I'm going to tell you about. But I just want to give the public a sense of what our plan is so people can pay more attention to the story. We have great topography advantages. We have low elevation. To build this mine would cost less than half the cost of what it would cost to build a mine in the Golden Triangle or Tex Galore Creek, for example. And the whole point of this mining business is you want to build a mine where you can pay back the capital as soon as possible. And we have high grade here at surface. So we have a growing potential open pit at surface that we're continuing to define that we think combine that with the elevation topography, geographic advantages, we can pay back this capital very quickly, which makes a lot of this moderate to low grade that we have throughout the system. We believe that there has potential to be billions of tons for that to be mined like Highland Valley for generations and generations. And we're hitting other areas within NAC that are showing that scale, intercepts of 0.3 to 0.4% across wide intervals. So let me show you the plan for the rest of the season. So to give you a little context, right here we have a map. And within that, let me annotate. So we have white holes here. Those are all holes that were drilled 2022 to 2024. This thing would look like a dog's breakfast if we had all holes out there looking the same. And then what else we have? We have red holes, we have purple holes, and we have blue holes. Now the red holes are defined as rig 1. That's all skid rig. Purple holes are rig 2, and that is a skid rig right now that will be turning into a heli rig. And the blue is rig 3, and that's all heli rig. And that's what we're going to be drilling for the rest of the season. All these different holes that I've highlighted. Now, the green holes that you see in the background, those are holes that we have released assays for this season, a hole like that. And then the yellow holes are holes that we have drilled so far, but we have not released the assays for yet. But I want to give you a little better idea of what our plan is for the rest of the season. So let's start right now with rig 1. So rig 1 is focusing on the south zone. So what we're drilling right now is 1-1, rig 1, hole 1 is drilling to further expand what we hit in 2549, a fabulous intercept, wide interval, over 200 meters of over 0.75% copper equivalent. We're going to expand that down further south. Now, what you see here with hole 2, it's defined as 1-2. In hole 62, we saw some really nice, what looked to be higher grade from surface. And you combine that with what we saw at depth with 48, it's looking like this thing could come to surface further up dip from 62. So that's what 1-2 is going to do. It's going to show, hopefully going to bring some of the stuff we're seeing close to surface with 62 and drilled towards 48 to connect that zone. Now with 1-3, 1-4, those are holes I believe the market doesn't quite understand that we could connect the high grade that we see at surface, for example, stuff at 31 and 17 with some of the stuff we see at depth of 46 and 48. So we're going to actually connect that for them. So that's what holes 1-3 and 1-4 are for. And hopefully those are going to be some really great results. Now, next is our purple holes. That's rig 2. So 2-1, rig 2, hole 1. We are drilling right here in the middle of the stock. And what we've seen with this hole 56 and this hole 53, we've started drilling the stock and we've seen some visually really good mineralization. It's showing this area of the stock, which historically wasn't supposed to be well mineralized, is. So if you can kind of aggregate this, how many holes have we drilled in this area? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now our 6. So we're definitely onto something, and we're going to step out north of those middle yellow holes, and we're going to expand this zone even further than what we have already. Now, if you see this, 59 was visually a good hole right here. And with some of the stuff that we're hitting here in the yellow, we think that this could be a really good area of interest that expands southwest to northeast. So we're going to keep on drilling this area. And we're seeing some really good hints that this could be another zone. So we're continuing to drill it. You don't put more holes at bad areas. You put them at good areas. So, take that as a bit of a hint. We're really liking this area. Now, the next hole that we're going to do after 2-1 is 2-2. Now, 2-2 is a hole that we're supposed to have a skid rig get to it. It's rained for about a month straight at NAC. So in order to get to that South 32 hole, we're actually going to fly a rig there. So we're turning one of our skid rigs, and we're actually going to be flying 2 heli rigs as of a couple weeks from now. And that hole is really interesting. We always love the North Zone. It's a little tougher to understand. There's not a lot of historical drill holes there, but with hole 35, we saw a nice intrusive at depth. So we're hoping to chase this closer to surface. So that's what hole 2-2 is for. And now that we have the heli rig, we're going to follow up our hole 59, which is this hole. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually drill across that zone. So some of the best stuff that we saw here was right here, and we're going to drill across it. So we're going to see, does that mineralization come further north? And that's why we're going to attack that zone. It's enough of an area of interest for us to go after that with now a fourth hole. We haven't quite understood it yet, but with each drill hole, we're understanding it more and more. We're figuring out where the dikes are oriented, and we're going to attack it. South 32 loves it. We love it, and we're going to continue to drill it. And then following up for our next zone is our pure heli rig zone, the blue holes. So right now, we have 4 holes planned for the heli rig. The one that I don't have circled actually is down here. That is a huge mag target. It's close to the Duke border, and that's a South 32 hole. We are drilling that in the next couple of days. And we have fingers crossed, but if we can drill and connect there, it has big ramifications for this whole system. Because what we're seeing here is we're seeing some nice mineralization up at top here. Now, if you can have some interesting intercepts in this IAP embayment zone, you have an area right here that possibly connects. We have a lot more drilling to go, but that's the hypothetical way that we're going to connect these zones together. Now, the area that most of the public has been really, really interested in and really bullish on us drilling was our IMP embayment zone. So this blue red circle that you see there, that's our IMP embayment zone, kind of a rough outline of it. In 2023, our second drill hole that we hit was hole 2209. And we hit some really nice gold from surface, around 140 meters of 0.4% copper equivalent. And we think now in the wrong direction. And given all the stuff that we've seen this year in our drilling, the ideal orientation of these holes is either southwest or due west. So 3 holes that we have planned to drill in this area is hole 3-2. So what it's going to do is going to test from surface this IP embayment area. Again, this area right here was really great from surface, so why not test it out southwest? And then we're actually going to drill to test it at southwest, test this IP embayment zone, but also hopefully expand some of this great stuff that we saw at depth with hole 2548 and some of these other areas that we're going to actually provide assays for very soon. So that's hole 3-2. After that, what we're going to do is we're going to do a more inclined hole in the same area with hole 3-3. And what it's going to do, it's going to test this IP embayment area from a different orientation and actually test it more because be going at a steeper angle right into the guts of it. So that's hole 3-3. And depending on those results right now, what we have planned is a fourth hole and a third one in this IP embayment zone with hole 3-4. Just step out southeast, drill fence off 3-3. So that's our plan for the rest of the season. We're extremely excited about it. Um, Some key highlights here. So far in the season, we've drilled 20,500 meters. We have 29 holes complete. For the remainder of the season, we have 12,000, approximately 500 meters left. We plan for 30,000 meters. I think we'll be hitting a target of around 30,000 meters. If you average the holes at 700 meters per hole, we have around 17 holes left. If you have some shorter holes, we'll have some more holes to hit. Um, in terms of news, we've released 11 assays so far. We estimate between 44 and 48 holes to be drilled this season. So we have around 34 more assayed holes for the rest of the season. That's a lot of catalysts coming up. Now we have some big boys behind us. Tech and South 32 both made large equity investments in American Eagle Gold. The most recent one being a $29 million investment by South 32. It was all done at a premium with no warrants attached. One of the things that we gave them, because they gave us $29 million, we allowed them to pick 8 of their holes, and they picked 4 for this season. And that deal was done at 87.5 cents. And these guys are looking for big scale stuff that you can have an open pit with decent grade that can pay back the mill. Tech South 32 are both long-term investors, and together they own about 34% of American Eagle Gold. So this year we'll be spending around $15 million. We have $37 million in the bank at the beginning of the season. And after all said and done, and after our tax rebate at the end of the season, by June, when we start drilling again next season, we'll have about $26 million in the bank account. And that's enough to last us for 2 more years of drilling in 2026 and drilling in 2027. And why that's important is while the investors don't always understand the geology, they do understand capital markets really well. And it's important that at the end of the season, when you end with great results, which we expect to end with, that people don't sell you off. They get excited and they hold on to your stock. And why people sell you off a lot of the time is because they think you have to do a financing. We don't have to do a financing next year. We probably don't have to do a financing in 2027. And besides our topography, elevation, infrastructure advantages, and some of the high grade that we're seeing at depth, which is different than any other BC porphyry, look at them. We have a lot of advantages most other companies don't have. We have a balance sheet that 99% of the public companies don't have at our stage. So we have huge advantages there. And in terms of winter drilling, we're going to see how these holes shake out. We see how much love the investors give us. The big thing is connecting that stuff that we see at surface to depth, which we're going to be doing with our next drill hole in the south. And if we see the cost of capital go down, if we see that the investors are understanding what we're hitting, and we see a re-rate of our stock, we can drill all through the winter. And that's something that we're keeping in the back of our mind. And we're putting the most strategic drill holes in the ground for the rest of the season so investors can understand. I'm very bullish on this IMP embayment zone. I'm bullish in this area where 59 is drilled. And I'm very bullish in the South 32 hole that they're begging us to drill in the north. So that's our update. That's where we're going to be drilling for the rest of the season. I only showed 11 holes. We have around 17 left. So what I showed you there is just 11 of the 17 based on what we're hitting on some of our successes. Again, we're going to have 2 heli rigs. So for example, if we're hitting out of the park in 59, hitting out of the park in the IP embayment zone, or something that South 32 found in that northern zone, and we think we should have 2 rigs there, we'll put 2 rigs there, or follow up more holes in this south zone that we believe is the most important area that we have because of the grade, because of how close it is at surface, and the scale that is growing into. We believe that area is a mine in itself. Forget about all this other stuff that can allow NAC to mine for generations and generations. It's early days, but we have around over 35 holes remaining to assay and 17 more to drill. And we have a winter season possibly coming up. So please stay tuned. We'll have news coming out every 3 to 4 weeks, possibly sooner. And we're going to continue to tie together this story, market, and tell investors why American Eagle Gold is great. Remember, most properties now in BC, they're not drilling right now. Right now, they've ended, and we're drilling all the way until the middle of December at the very latest. And with those assays, we'll be having news coming out all the way to March. So stay tuned. American Eagle Gold, Tech and South 32 are investors. We're excited for this season. My name is Anthony Moreau. I'm the CEO, and stay tuned for more info.